This is Learn English with Ease.
English made powerful, simple, and yours.
Hey there. Welcome back to Learn English with Ease. If you're tuning in today, let me just say this. You're not alone. And I mean that. Because I know how frustrating it feels to be in that moment when someone asks you a question in English, and before you even open your mouth, you're already translating everything in your head. You think in your native language first. Then you search for the English version. You double-check your grammar, your word order, your pronunciation, and by the time you're ready to speak, the moment is already gone. The conversation has moved on, and you're left sitting there, frustrated, silent, and thinking, why is it so hard to just speak? And if this sounds like you, I want to tell you something that might surprise you. The problem isn't your English, it's the system you're using to speak. You were probably taught to translate. That was the method. Memorize a word, find its equivalent, plug it in, repeat. But translation is a survival tool, not a fluency tool. And today we're going to dig deep into why this habit is keeping you stuck and how to finally let it go.
Jack, I feel that so deeply. Because I've worked with so many English learners who are brilliant. I mean truly intelligent, thoughtful people. But the second they have to speak, something happens. And you can see it. Their eyes look up. Their mouth pauses. Their face tightens. And I know instantly they're trying to translate, word by word, phrase by phrase, and I get it. It's what most schools teach. They hand you vocabulary lists and say, this word means this. But what they don't tell you is that language isn't math. It's emotion, it's culture, it's rhythm. And when you rely on translation, you're not speaking, you're decoding, slowly, painfully. And it disconnects you not just from the language, but from yourself.
Exactly. And here's what makes it worse. When you translate in your head, you start second-guessing everything. You don't trust your instincts. You question your words. You worry, is this the right word? Is this how native speakers say it? And that pressure, that constant self-monitoring, it kills your flow. You hesitate more. You speak less. And your confidence starts to shrink. I had a student once, he told me, I feel like my brain is a broken Google Translate. And that hit me hard. Because that's what translation becomes. It's not helpful. It's heavy. And if you rely on it too long, it becomes a prison.
And Jack, do you know what the saddest part is? A lot of learners blame themselves. They think, maybe I'm just bad at languages. Or maybe I need to study harder. But that's not true. What they need isn't more grammar. What they need is a new relationship with English. One that isn't built on fear. One that isn't about correctness. One that's built on connection. Because when you translate in your head, you're not connected. You're not present. You're stuck in your mind, not in the moment. And that's why conversations feel so hard. That's why jokes don't land. That's why you walk away from every interaction thinking, why couldn't I just speak normally? You're not present. You're stuck in your mind, not in the moment. And that's why conversations feel so hard. That's why jokes don't land. That's why you walk away from every interaction thinking, why couldn't I just speak normally?
And here's the truth most teachers don't say out loud. If you want to speak fluently, you have to stop translating. Not someday. Not when your grammar is perfect. Now. Because the longer you hold on to that habit, the harder it becomes to let go. But, and this is important, you can't just stop translating. You have to replace it. You have to train your brain to think in English. Even if it's slow at first. Even if it's messy. Even if it's only one sentence at a time. That's how it begins. Fluency doesn't come from translation. It comes from trust. Trust in your voice. Trust in your instinct. Trust in your story.
Yes, Jack. And let's give people something practical. If you're listening right now, and you catch yourself translating in your head before you speak, here's a little challenge. Start small. Start with simple things. Describe what you're doing in real time, in English. I'm making coffee. The window is open. I feel tired. Do it without going into your native language first. And don't worry about sounding fancy. Don't worry about mistakes. Just focus on the habit, because the more you practice this, the more your brain begins to associate English directly with your thoughts. And that's the key. That's how you move from translation to expression.
And the shift is beautiful when it happens. One day you catch yourself responding in English automatically. You don't pause. You don't think. You just say it. And in that moment, you realize something powerful. I'm not translating anymore. I'm speaking. And that is real fluency. Not perfect grammar, not native speed, but presence, the ability to stay in the conversation, stay in your body, stay with your truth, and speak. That's what this podcast is about. That's what Learn English with Ease means. Not harder study, not more stress, but more trust, more ease, more you.
If this episode touched something inside you, if it made you realize you're not broken, you're just translating, then please share it. Let someone else know they're not alone. And remember, you don't have to translate to be fluent. You just have to be you in English.
Subscribe to Learn English with Ease for more emotional, honest, healing English episodes that speak to your soul, not just your grammar book. See you next time.